Welcome back to Tigs Bits. Kick off your boots and join us. On the show this week, JR the Handler, Chad Blasi, and myself talk about gaming, virtual reality. We share a couple of stories about some concerts that we've been to, one that we didn't even realize that we were at the same show. And JR gives us some more behind the scenes insights into the music industry. It's a good one. Don't forget to subscribe or follow wherever you're listening or watching this podcast. Leave a comment, leave a review, share it with your friends. It really helps to grow the show, and you can find all of the information about the show on tigsbits.com. Let's jump into it. So I heard you mention in our last show more than once, since we're talking video game characters, it seems as if you're a gamer, a bit of a gamer.
I am somewhat. I grew up in that era. Got a Nintendo when I was 6, 7, whatever, and then never was like stupid into them because I always my problem always still now is I got too many hobbies. I was into everything. I played everything there was. I was into model cars and comic books and just you name it, everything. I had too many hobbies. So gaming, I never got great at it, but yeah, I always played games all my life.
Yeah.
And then up into college, and then after post college, when I got into music, when I got on the road, that's back seat for a long time. I don't play near as much now as I did before then. That's to be good. You got to log in hours, and I just never have the time anymore. Yeah. But I still keep a gaming system at all time, and I'll usually keep like Madden or NBA basketball or a couple of or golf game or a wrestling game or something like that. I don't do many of the last real fighter first person type game I did was back in the day. We were into Halo for a while, but that I hadn't really done any of those since. I tried to jump on one of the Call of Duties or something with my brother during the pandemic. It was too much.
It is. It's complicated. I like to play online. I don't play a whole lot. I just got into it kind of during the pandemic when I got this PC. And I was like, okay, I can step.
So you're like a PC gamer? Is that your?
Yeah, I play on
real
the screen
gamer,
that I'm looking at. No, I'm not a real gamer. There's no way, but I can play. But I play with these two dudes pretty much lately every night. One guy's name's Fierro, and his son's name's Hamburger.
So what game are y'all playing?
We're playing Call of
Duty.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was like a big Nintendo guy. Super Mario Brothers, Contra. Kind of got into it. There was some little ninja game called Kid Nicky I used to play. And then after that, I kind of, same thing. I was kind of all in, and I was like, kind of over it. So then I stepped away. I didn't play any games. I didn't have any gaming all through high school, college. But 2 years ago, my 10-year-old now wanted an Oculus, so the VR headset.
That was my next question.
I got him that.
If anybody had that.
Dude, I've gotten really big into a game called Echo VR. And it's like a virtual Frisbee type game. Now, the problem is a lot of times it's a lot of kids in there. So, and you can talk like you're a team of 4. You're on a 4. There's another team of 4. And you've got trying to get to a disc and throw it in their goal. But, dude, the realism of like it's a zero gravity game. And you're playing and fighting and coming up with a plan and passing. And it's a really cool game, Yeah. I've probably played 1,000 games on that. That's the only thing that sucked me back in is this Echo. I mean, I played it last night and this morning. As soon as I woke up, I'll go on the back porch.
Get you a little.
It's like
VR.
a workout too, Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Does it ever make you? Do you ever get seasick? I found the VR thing, and I need to try some different games because the roller coaster game at the sports game was fine. But the roller coaster game made me nauseous. Then I got this cool game that was called Combat Kayak or something, where basically you're in this kayak and you're going on like Navy SEAL missions. So, but you use your hands to paddle your kayak, stop, do different stuff, get your pistol, get your other gun. I mean, and dude, you're really in this thing. It was amazing, but I couldn't play for very long because I'd get seasick. It'd spin me around, and it'd make me, it'll mess you up a little bit. But I think I think they'll get it down to a science, but it's hard for our minds to keep up or something at this point. But
no, it takes some getting used to, and there's some settings I have to turn off, like where I can actually float upside down and things like that. I can't handle that, so I have to turn that feature off and disable, I think they call it the pitch and the yaw
Yeah.
on that game. I have to disable that and kind of stay vertical, because if I start floating upside down, it really screws with me. I tried to play that way, and some of the better Echo VR players do play that
Right.
way, and it's like, man,
And there
I
was,
just can't
they
do it,
say
brother.
putting
I
a
can't
fan on you
tolerate it.
helps too. A fan in your face blowing on in front of you, I've heard helps.
That makes sense.
I've tried, my neighbor has an Oculus, and I did the International Space Station one.
Yeah.
And that thing kind of made me nauseous because you're floating and you're
Yeah.
upside down. I did the Beat Saber. That one was fun. I liked it. I've done some VR stuff. I wish I would like to have one. But even Call of Duty, playing on this monitor that you can't see, but that I'm looking at y'all through, it's a curved, like 32-inch monitor. I have to put the little white dot on the middle of the screen. It has that setting, and that way you won't get nauseous because you're constantly it draws your eye back to the middle,
Right.
which it's helpful to play the game that way too.
I bet. It's it's think about where that's going to go and how far, where that just come from and where that's going to go. And it's only going to get better. Think about this. If you had a small space, because I've done it just to watch it, you go on there and you sit at a huge movie theater and watch YouTube or watch Netflix on a huge theater screen. So if you lived in a small apartment somewhere, you could put that on. You got whatever you need.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, in that Oculus, there's a setting where you can go to this theater, and it's like you've got this personalized home theater, and you can watch.
That's
Netflix
what I'm saying.
movies.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
in there.
And it's got the books, which is crazy
absolutely.
on the coffee table in front of you. You can actually look at the books.
Yes.
And I've looked at one of those books, and it was a random book. I'm like, that's not very. How is that the book that's up there? It's almost like it read my mind and put this book out there. I'm like, that's not a book most people would have on their coffee table. Did it know I wanted that book, or did somehow I buy that book through a Microsoft something or whatever, and it put it out there for me? Maybe that's how it happened. But it's just,
there's an algorithm that's traced it back to you, and it knows.
Yeah,
absolutely,
that's crazy,
it knows.
isn't it? That's insanity.
I'm the most pumped up, I think, in late March, and by the time you hear this, it's probably already out. The new golf game, EA Sports PGA Tour Golf, I think, whatever it's going to be called. I have PGA Tour 2K23. It's okay, it's fine, but the one that's coming out is going to be like the continuation of the Tiger Woods golf games, and it has the Masters course, Master course, and all 4 majors and all that. The graphics look really, really good. What do you play on, JR? Do you play on an Xbox or PlayStation?
At home, I have a PS4. And then on the road, recently we bought a PS5, and we have NBA 2K, and then this past year's golf game. Because Justin has not video gamed since Nintendo and Duck Hunt and stuff. He has never been a gamer, really. But then I've always talked about it.
Do you beat his ass?
I did it first. He's caught up, though. He's a very competitive guy, so he's going to shed and put the time in and really – concentrate on. I mean, he's up there running plays and stuff. He's really trying hard. He wants to beat me too, and I let him hang around for a long time. But now he can legit beat me. If I don't have my best game, he can legit beat me, and he'd probably be all over me. I probably won't be able to beat him the next time I see him. Once we start back, he'll be able to get me. But he's got children now that are of the age they're starting to want to play, which later than most kids. But his oldest daughter just turned 13, and she wants to play now, and the 11-year-old. So. He had to play a little bit to make sure that they couldn't just spank him. And he said because they got one before we did, they were spanking him. Now they can't beat him, kind of thing. So he's caught up. So he's got to stay ahead of them. But it's been fun.
That's what I do too.
My brother lives in Tampa, Safety Harbor, which is near Tampa, and he met a guy I don't know. He said maybe 6 or 7 years ago now. This guy playing video games online, Fran, who is a retired Marine. Living a disability up in something like Syracuse or somewhere. Now they come to visit him a couple times a year. They go to ball games together. They're buddies. They're buddies. I know Fran. I mean, he's been to my house. And I tried to. My grandmom's met Fran. Fran, he's this old retired grizzled guy, little guy, crazy hippie.
All from a video game.
Yeah, and then and I tried to play that with him one time, and at the same time, I'm like, guys, it's just too much. I got shit to do. I ain't, I like my basketball or football or whatever. I'll jump on Madden, like I play Madden at home. I'll jump on and get me a solo game in and a this and that, and update my roster, and that's it.
Right,
That's all you can handle.
Yeah,
you got to get Justin Moore to do some of those. They're doing concerts on Oculus now.
Really?
Like, that'd be super cool to have a Justin Moore concert on Oculus.
Wow.
I've seen those. Like, I haven't actually attended one, but I've seen where they announced certain concerts they're doing now on Oculus.
I saw there's one real neat
cool.
one on there I watch on the YouTube when I think there's a thing, like one of the quick links I remember when I was looking at this. My Oculus gets dust on it, and I dust it off every now and then and play with it for a day or two and stick it back. But there was a Warren Haynes sitting on some mountain with another guy playing with him, or maybe it was just Warren solo standing on this mountain, and it's in like where you could go around him and stuff. I mean, it's on top of some mountain somewhere. It was pretty cool in the Oculus. I remember watching that a few times, thinking I'm standing right next to Warren Haynes. He's belting me a song.
Do you think he sees me?
You think he would?
Is this weird for him?
You got something on your shoulder. Buddy. I got two quick things I wanted to do on here as far as history stuff. I thought this was cool. I do this thing where it's things that happen in country music this day and stuff like that. I always think that's neat. You got two Alabama stories on here today, so I got to tell that. My wife always makes fun of me. She's like, well, here in Alabama, like it's a whole nother world we live in. I was like, here in Alabama, we call this here a pencil. And things like, she's like, well, yeah. But like, here in Alabama, this is called country music. But in 1923, I thought this was neat. Born in Pike County, Alabama, and later became the wife to and mother of two different Hanks, was Miss Audrey Williams, born today in Pike County, Alabama. And then also in 27, I didn't realize this, but in New Brockton, Don Helms, steel guitar player for Hank Williams' Drifting Cowboys, was born in New Brockton. The same day as Audrey.
I did not know it was for New Brockton.
So there's two South Alabama tie-ins to country music legacy.
Big time.
I tell you, hey, and speaking of that, I know we talked about tech, we go a little music, but I think I'm gonna get to go to a Hank Jr. show. He's playing in Tampa on my mom's birthday, May 19th, actually, and I'm off that weekend as of now. So fingers crossed we stay unbooked, and I will go see me a Hank Jr. show this year.
Oh, what is that? What is that like? JR going to a concert as just a normal fan, going as us.
Yeah,
going as one of us.
Well,
what's that like?
He won't quite go as us.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Well,
true.
I mean, I know what you're saying though, but yeah, if the regular way, just as a standard ticket buyer and stuff.
Let's say you go see an act that isn't in country music.
Right, I was gonna say because Hank would be a little different because I'm gonna go park by the bus and go in the back and all that stuff, going, all that kind of stuff. I get my little family section. That's my favorite way to go. Is just to be honest. And I really don't do much outside anymore unless I have some way to get where I want to go and a ride or a parking and a pass and a side this. I just really don't unless the few times I've had to or wanted to. I took my wife to Pink a few years ago in New Orleans at the Smoothie King, which was incredible show. Pink is a hell of a performer.
Yes, she is.
And it's just like anything, but we have that's one of our home bases. We have that down pat. We stay at the Hyatt. We walk over there. It's nothing, but it's fine. We paid for good seats. Her tickets weren't cheap, but it's one of my wife's favorites. So we paid for good seats and went in, and it's cool. I'm disappointed. Like they closed the beer line. I think, man, this sucks. I hate to be a regular person. I always get the beer. The beer gets shut off at some point in the night. I'm thinking, no way. Let's go. We got plenty back there. Whatever, and the bathroom situation, and just we had an in seat, but I couldn't imagine having to go sit in a seats and stuff. Like I said, the Robert Earl Keen thing, I kind of got my little back section. I'd rather sit way away and not have a good sight than I would be crowded. I just don't want to be crowded anymore.
But wouldn't you rather be out in the crowd to hear the sound where it sounds good? Because I know it doesn't sound good backstage.
No.
You can hear it, but
no. Well, if you go do that route, you'll have usually a ticket, or you'll have a pass, or you can go wherever kind of like the team can go. So I go stand anywhere.
At the sound booth.
That's usually where I go.
Which is
yeah.
That's where I go.
Yeah.
to any concert that I go to, I try to stand by the sound booth because I know the sound is coming
and the lights
right
and everything
to that place.
Yeah.
Everything that is your vocal point. If you're there, you're in the pocket.
Yeah, that's who's
you're in the
that's
pocket
who's
of
making
sound.
it do what it does. Do what it does.
That's right.
So yeah, I would say that usually I go to front of house is ideal unless you got somewhere you can sit side, or sometimes side stage. If whoever it is, they'll give me a ear pack so I can hear what's going on. Things like that. We'll do that for certain times. I'm trying to think. Well, I went and saw. Well, I'll tell you one I went to a couple years ago. Buddies with Chris Shiflett from the Foo Fighters. We went and saw the Foo play that new venue in New Orleans, the new Fillmore in New Orleans.
I was there.
No way.
Bro. I was. Yes, sir. Yes, I went the first night. I didn't go the second night, but I did go the first night when they had Trombone Shorty.
That's where I was there. I was there.
Damn.
Swear to God, I was there. Yeah, we were.
Wow.
Dude, and that was a crazy, awesome night because that place is wild because it's just a long haul. There's no way to get from back of house to front of house. So we started off, I got our pack. We're backstage. Everything's good. Well, I want to go to front of house and watch the show. We stood side stage when Trombone Shorty was playing. It was cool. It's tight. Side stage was real tight. There's not much for wings. It's kind of like a theater stage. So we want to go to front of house, but there's no way to go like in the concourse like a arena would have or something. You basically had to walk along the wall through the crowd.
Right.
And boy, that's not fun. I do not like that. And so we got to front of house.
It was packed. It was packed in there too.
Oh God. I mean, couldn't put any more people in there. And went to front of house, rock and roll show. That's typically not my kind of stuff I'm into, but I get it. I totally get it. It was great rock and roll. Wasn't familiar with a lot of the songs, I knew a few, but it was still good. It was great. Good rock. Definitely high energy American rock and roll.
Oh man! But to see that in a venue, just seen them. I'd just seen them a year before in what was the Century Tale. I think it's the Brookshire Brothers, Brookshire's Arena in Bossier City. That nice arena there. That's like the one in Little Rock.
Right.
I've seen so many concerts there, but I saw them. I went up there to see them. They just blew me away.
Yeah.
It just blew me away. And then that opportunity came up to see them in New Orleans. It's like, how do I say no to that?
No way.
And to see them in that small of a venue, a band that big.
Yeah, because they play in South America. They play in South America and play for 200,000 people and stuff. Literally, like the whole, country shows up to see them. I remember seeing same thing. I remember one time me and Grice actually went and saw Pearl Jam at the UNO Lakefront in like '99 on a whim. We were driving to town to just go party or something. Heard it on the radio. Got some tickets. Went. Killer. Perfect. Pearl Jam. I was not a big Pearl Jam fan before that either, but man, they put on a show.
Oh, it's unbelievable. I've been to one show and it was phenomenal. I got kicked out, but snuck my way back in. But that's another story.
That happens. But no, so I would say great, going to shows like there's not many. I like going to smaller type stuff. Like when I lived in Nashville, there was the Fontanelle Amphitheater out there. I love that kind of setting, open. I don't like a bunch of structure and sitting and stuff unless it's an old theater where you got room. But I love that kind of stuff. Festivals. Stuff where you can go get some space, but I really have gotten in my where I'm at with everything now. I'm usually going out of my way to make sure I got some kind of little cush package along the ride. Even in country music, like I was saying about my wife getting to go to Motley Crue and stuff. I mean, we usually know somebody or an agent or something. There's somebody connected that wouldn't mind at least asking if they could do a favor for me, because I always try to help people with stuff. I always try to do favors. I try not to ask for many favors, so when I do, maybe they'll come true, kind of thing. And I always try to not to burn any bridges, keep my nose clean, so it works out a lot of times. But I still enjoy going. But the tight crowds, that's the one part I don't like anymore. Just don't like the big crowds. I don't know if I guess you didn't care. I guess it's different when you're younger. I don't know, but
yeah, but you've seen the other side now. I would not go back either. So I don't blame you, bro. Not at all. Not at all. You've earned that right to get those perks.
It's got to be something.
Absolutely.
Got to be something. Yes. All this time in this business, I don't have the 401k. I got some stories though. And
that's right.
A few of those perks every now and then help keep the train rolling.
Amen to that.
That's one thing we could talk about on another one, but talking about venues, the one thing is the cool factor and the awe-inspire, the things, the history and things like that. The other side is the actual legwork and production side of that. Like Red Rocks is beautiful, but dude, you got to drive your trucks halfway up the mountain, then bring box trucks to bring your stuff in. It is a laborious process. Same with Madison Square Garden. There's one little ramp up and one little ramp down. You have to park your trucks at the bottom and forklift everything up. And when you're on a tour like Miranda Lambert, you got 10 semi trucks full of shit you got to bring up. And not having loading docks to unload, you know what I'm saying? And then think about where you parking 10 buses or 10 semi trucks and 10 tour buses in downtown Manhattan. You know?
Yeah, I've been there, and there isn't anywhere to park those things.
It's crazy. So there's some that are cool, but what a pain in the ass. And then there's people always ask me what's the best gigs. I'm like, the closest to the house that pays the most money. That's my favorite.
I would agree with that.
And hopefully everybody in my family's got something else to do that day. God bless them, but don't have to show up to work where I'm at, or all my friends too. Let's be honest. I tell all my friends that if you really want to have fun with me, fly off somewhere we don't know nobody. Come see us somewhere off at some casino show in Washington. Don't come close to the house or close to where nobody else lives or a bunch of our friends live, because normally that's going to be friends and family day for several of us. That's going to double my workload. I'm not going to get to spend the one-on-one time and really get to engage. So it's really better. Come off somewhere where we're doing a casino, like I said, off somewhere in some random state where we don't really know anybody. That way we're kind of just screwing off all day. We can hang, do stuff.
Tiggs, you and I'll have to eyeball something and get on a plane
that's
somewhere cheap
absolutely
and show up.
Yeah, for sure. I've not ever seen Justin in concert, and I think that that has to change.
Oh yeah, we got to make that happen.
We need to go somewhere random, far away from here, like Sioux City, Iowa, or whatever. Like that'd be great.
Yeah, we'll look at like a good one for you guys would literally be like a good casino, because we don't play a ton of casinos, but we play, half dozen or dozen a year, and some are really nice, some are not, but some are really cool. Like there's one we did out in Henderson, Nevada, outside of Vegas, off the strip there, Red Rock, that is just this oasis out there. I mean, it's the biggest pools. I mean, it's crazy. And they got an amphitheater on one side, and I told my wife we would go there. Has nothing to do with gambling or anything really. It's just a nice resort, And then there's one in Tulsa that's super nice. There's Cherokee, North Carolina, that's really nice. I mean, there's several that are nice and those are easy for us. That's much easier doing a casino show than it is a arena show or a tour show. And that way you got cool place to stay, something else to do besides sitting around waiting on the show to have, because you go off somewhere it's just us. You just basically go hang around to the show. Unless there's stuff to do in the town. You can go hang out
in your room, or you can go about the casino.
Yeah, well, because some of these towns have something awesome you want to go see. It's known for, and then some of these towns, it's just there ain't nothing there. You're in the middle of nowhere. The thing they're coming to see is what we're going to do later that night. So up until that point, there ain't really nothing to eat. There ain't nothing to look at. There ain't nothing, that's it. So that's when we lay around the bus and watch sports all day or play video games. But there's some cool ones. So yeah, we'll look at that and find y'all somewhere cool to come to.
Well, awesome. Thanks, JR, man. I appreciate you coming on again. Talk to you soon.
All right, brother. Talk soon. Thanks, man.